Hello and welcome to Crypto Haven. My name is Sean, and we are going to be going into what Bitcoin is and in simplified terms. So we're going to break it down, and for all of you that just don't want to get into it or don't understand it and then just kind of turn away from it, I don't want you to miss out, and I want to simplify it because I know when you look at Bitcoin, you'll see charts, you'll see these really deep dives into what it is and everything else. But I want to simplify it. I want to make it really easy to understand, so that you can get involved and can easily just kind of wrap your head around what's going on with Bitcoin, what it is, and it's not just something you put on a flash drive and potentially lose it and lose all your Bitcoin. So there's really simple ways to obtain it, and there's easy ways to hold it and really to take advantage of what this is. So let's jump into it. So what is Bitcoin? The simple way to explain Bitcoin is it's going to be our future, I believe, and it's going to be something that you can take Bitcoin currency and pay off a lot of debt for your fiat currency, which is the U.S. dollar if you're here in the U.S. So that is what it is. It's just another way to transact, but there's a limited amount of coins that are going to be what's called mined by what's now supercomputers. So once those are gone, which is 21 million, once those are gone, they're gone, right? So there's no more to get. So keep in mind that when it comes to 21 million, let's think about that. So there's 21 millionaires in the entire world that can own one, right? 21 million people that can own one Bitcoin. So what does that mean for the price of Bitcoin when we have supply and demand? What does that mean? It means that it's going to be much higher than what it is right now, 12,000, just under 12,000. So what it is really though is it's really a key that unlocks your transactions on the blockchain. It's a key that you own. So basically you're the only one that has that ability to see those transactions, right? So it's a key, or it's a code that has 12 or 24 words and a passphrase that either you own or an exchange owns. Now, if you own it, you can keep it on, you can keep it on what's called a ledger. You can keep it on that USB drive, and keep it safe. Now, it's important that you keep that code safe and store it. And that's going to be in another video, different ways of how to put it on the, a ledger or a Trezor, how to keep that, that safe. There's many ways of doing that, as far as a key goes. So it's a bunch of series of words that make up that passphrase. And if you own that, you own that Bitcoin. That's as simple as it is, right? So, but if another exchange owns it, like you have Gemini, Coinbase, you have Binance, you have different exchanges that basically own your passphrase. So it's no different really than a bank owning your money, while it's there. So you can have access to it, you can move it, but essentially they own it. If you go to the bank one day and everybody's going at the same time, they don't have money, then it's gone, right? So you can't get your money right away, and that's like a run on a bank. So basically this is a similar thing. You have these big exchanges that hold the keys, and you have access, you have authority over those keys. So you can move the money, you can transfer it to another exchange, you can take it out, if you want, and put it into US dollars. So that's really how the Bitcoin infrastructure works as a simplified, dumbed down version. So you purchase it, you purchase a key or a passphrase. So that's either on an exchange, or you can take ownership or possession of that passphrase. So, and again, we'll get into that in a future video. So, but really what it is and why I'm so excited about it is you can get in early on something that is going to be our future. So every decade, okay, and we're just entering a new decade. Every decade there's something new, right? There's something that just overshadows everything else. And this decade, I believe it's going to be Bitcoin and blockchain technology, because it's a fascinating thing, and you may not want to get into all of it, and you may not care to get into all of it, but what you don't want to overlook is the amount of money or the amount of wealth that you can obtain during this time. So just buying it and holding it for this 5 to 10 year period, at the end of 2029, what is going to happen is we're going to have a whole new way of transacting, a new currency that's going to be all across the globe, right? It's not going away. So you either adapt to it, you either get in on the pie, or you're going to miss out, right? And your dollar is going to continue to devalue. How can it not, right? It's set up to devalue over time. That's the way it's set up. You put money in a bank account, in a savings account, it's set up to devalue your money. What you can buy at the store today, you can no longer buy down the road. So that's what this is, and Bitcoin is set up to be deflationary, because there's only a certain amount of the Bitcoin available, and it actually is harder and harder to obtain every 4 years from the miners. And let me talk a little bit about how it's mined. So you have these supercomputers, right, that are constantly in there, and they're mining, they're solving these complex mathematical algorithms to mine these Bitcoin. And every so often, there's more Bitcoin that's put into the system, right? And then those miners sell it into, to exchanges and things like that, and then we can go ahead and buy those. So that's what's happening, and it's a genius system, again, that you don't want to miss out on, because it's for everybody. It's decentralized. It's not controlled by any centralized government where they can just make your money go up and down without your say so, right? It's a true market, free market. Okay, so that's what's wonderful about it, and you have control of your funds. I mean, where else can you do that? I love it because there's people in other countries that don't have access to bank accounts. They can't grow businesses and things like that. They can have Bitcoin as long as they have a phone, as long as they are able to have internet access. They can own Bitcoin, and they can be part of all of this, and that can be their bank account. We have things like crypto.com. We have a new swipe project where you can actually just purchase those and use debit cards, debit cards that are connected to that, and they give you money on top of that. You earn points on top of that, where, if you're at, a major bank, they're gonna fee you to death, right? So if you don't have enough in there, if you overdraft or whatever it is, they fee you, where these companies are actually giving you interest to hold your money or to use your money. So it's amazing how it is, and it's not credit. Although you can get credit, there's ways to do that. It's just basically, if you have it in there, you're able to transact and get money based on the cryptocurrency you have in there. So again, it's simplified to do it. So take our phones. I remember in high school, we had the big brick phones, right? And we had pagers right before that. And when it came out, it's like, what is this? How do we use it, right? And now we can, most people use it as their main source of their computers. And that's what's going to happen with this. They're going to make it simplified so everybody can use it. Now, is that the time that you want to get in on the investment, when everybody else is doing it, right? That's not the time that you want to get in, because that's usually when it's already made its big pump. Think about this. There's different waves or different time frames in every new thing that comes to market, right? We had the internet. It went up, it crashed, and then it came back, right? But now we all use it. So you go back and look at the 80s movies, and you can see those old computers. That's what's happening with Bitcoin right now. Is people are scared because, what is it? How am I going to use it? How am I going to hold it? Am I going to lose my money? All that stuff. But the fact is, there's an idea that comes. Somebody has an idea, and they bring it to market, right? And it usually, if it's a good idea, good technology, it catches fire and it speculates and it goes crazy. But usually it has a crash after that, right? But ultimately the line goes up. Okay, so if there's an idea and people that get on it, earliest make the most money, but they take the most risk. But once it starts to have that curve where now it's starting to get adoption and starting to be understood a little bit more, that's where the second group of people get in, and that's where we are right now, right? And we've been there for a while. Now we're at the kind of the top of the curve, but we've been there for a while. And then there's the next phase where it gets adopted and it just goes crazy. It's called parabolic. It goes crazy. And that's where most people are like, yeah, let me get into it now, right? And now Bitcoin's 50,000, 100,000, 150, 500,000, right? And if we go back to the 21 million that are available and only 21 million people can own one Bitcoin, we can now perceive that it can be worth 500,000, $1 million per Bitcoin, because you don't have to have a full Bitcoin. You can have a fraction of a Bitcoin, right? So that's where we're heading. And it's a matter of getting in before that happens. And that's why I'm doing this channel, because again, this is all simplified, right? We're not going deep into the inner workings of blockchain. We're trying to, on the surface, say, hey, what is this on a big macro, approach, and what is it, so that I can get into it early and understand just really how to hey, if it goes down, you're not putting your life savings in, but if it goes up, you're going to be very well off doing that, right? Much more than just keeping your money in a savings account. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, okay? So I'm just, these are what I believe, my opinions, and I think it's important, why I'm doing the channel. I think it's important for you as maybe somebody that just doesn't really want to spend a lot of time on it, to understand, hey, at least if I get in and get a piece of the pie, I won't miss out on everything, right? And not FOMO in, which is fear of missing out. FOMO in the next, year and a half when everything's going crazy, and then everybody sells into yours, right? So that's kind of how it works, right? It goes up and down. So, and that's the extent of the charts that I'm going to be doing right now. But again, Bitcoin, it's a way to transact. It's a store of value. It's deflationary, as opposed to our US dollar or any currency really being inflationary, where we're deflating the value of it over time. This is going to increase, Bitcoin's going to increase value over time, because of being a max supply of stuff. When we were taken off the gold standard in 1971, our dollar became fiat, and now we can print as much as we want, right? That's not good for us. It's good right now when we're in a pandemic, because now we can throw out money, but in the long term, it's not good, right? So we want to look at taking those cheap dollars and putting them into something that's going to be good long term. So that's what we want to, that's what I want to talk about. What is Bitcoin? Simply, it's a code. It's a key that you own that stores transactions, right? So, and you can keep it on an exchange. You can keep it on a ledger, which again we'll get into. But it's essentially, you own those keys. You own that Bitcoin. Nobody else does. So with that becomes responsibility, which is on you to be responsible for that. Okay, so anyway, that's essentially what Bitcoin is in its simplest form, and we'll get into more videos and kind of dive a little bit more into that, and kind of more of what it is and stuff. But this is really a synopsis, getting into that. So my follow-up video is going to be how do you purchase it? How do you store it? How do you get in on the action so that you don't miss out? How do you do it now, rather than waiting another year, 18 months, when it's now $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 Bitcoin, right? So make sure you're subscribing to the video. Make sure you're putting a like, or subscribing to the channel. Make sure you're putting a like on the videos, and make sure you comment down below, because I'm going to be looking at those, getting back, and let's start a conversation and chat about this. Because again, I don't want you guys missing out on something that's the future. It's what's going to happen. So I'm going to cut this video off here, but I appreciate you watching, and make sure to come back for more videos. And I believe it's very valuable content that you're going to get, and it's going to set you up for great things down the road. So appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next video.